Hi guys, and welcome back to Gardening Suburbia. My name is Amanda, and today I'm going to be going ahead and removing all of my determinate tomatoes. This bed is now going to be my fall garden bed. I'm going to plant a whole bunch of squash, summer squash, because that is the time that I have left in my season. I have approximately 70 days until my estimated first frost on October 17th, and I have just enough time to go ahead and plant my summer squash. I did not plant any summer squash this season, and so I'm really hoping to get a harvest on that. But first I need to make space for them. These determinate tomato plants have not been doing too well for me. I've gotten a couple basket, like handful sizes of tomatoes from these plants. My indeterminate bed over here has been doing wonderful. I'm gonna get enough to can up a whole bunch of tomato type products. But I'm gonna go ahead and remove these guys just because they're not doing too much for me. And I want the space to be working for me and giving me food and whatnot. So I'm going to go ahead and remove these guys and get it prepped for my summer squash. So all of the fruit that I do have on these are pretty green, and some of them even have bottom blossom rot. So I'm going to go ahead and just remove these guys and put them in my basket and try to get them to ripen on my counter. It's not too big of a loss though, just because I already said I have so many tomatoes stored away, ready to be put away. And I'm just going to go ahead and actually cut these tomato plants at the base and leave the roots in the ground, just to give a little more soil structure to what I have. So I'd actually asked everyone what they thought I should do in regards to my beds, and I got a kind of mixed review over on Instagram. Some people were saying to keep them, some said to rip them all out. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove my determinate bed, leaving my indeterminate bed. I went ahead and I pruned the lower leaves on those guys, just because they are now just setting fruit towards the top of the plant. But I'm going to get these guys out of here. So for having as many plants of tomatoes that I had in there, this really isn't that much. So I think it's a good thing that I decided to take these out and to plant some squash in this area back here. So there's a couple different varieties of squash that I'm going to go ahead and put in this soil back behind me. The first one I'm really wanting to put in is some more patty pan squash. I got this really pretty blend from Botanical Interests that has a couple of different varieties in it. But it is only a 45 to 60 day maturity, which is more than enough time for this guy. I actually just noticed that I do have some Ford Hook zucchini back here that I didn't know was back here until I ripped out all of those tomato plants. So now that I know it's back there, I'm going to be making sure to check on it, because leaving zucchini for even like a day, they can grow massive. That guy looks like maybe even tomorrow morning he'll be ready to be harvested. So I might be good on the Ford Hook variety. But I also have this Peter Pan hybrid from Burpee that looks super cute. And I think I also want to do just a yellow squash. I think I'm going to do the early prolific straight neck summer squash, just a yellow variety. This is a 55-day till harvest. So I'm going to go ahead and put those in the ground. Maybe even just throw another forward hook in there just for fun. So I also have this thing here, and I honestly have no idea what it is. I don't know if it's like a flower that I planted or if it's just a weed that is just massive, but I'm so intrigued by it. It has like these really pretty, like almost caterpillar-like flowers that look like they're gonna be yellow. And so I'm just leaving him to see what's gonna happen. Yeah, so it's an experiment, but it'll be fun to see what exactly comes out of the sky. So I'm gonna start with my Peter Pan squash. And I'm just gonna pop them under the soil. It rained today, so the soil is nice and moist, so I'm not gonna go ahead and water it because it's already been pretty much watered. And I'm just gonna push these guys down into the seed, or into the soil, and space them out pretty good, but nothing too crazy. We got the Peter Pan squash. We're gonna go ahead and pop these guys in there too. We're gonna put these guys more towards the back here. Just gonna do about 5 of them. Alright, and then we're gonna put our forward hook in this area right here. I'll do 5 of those guys as well. And then this very back area, I'm going to go ahead and put my straight neck, early prolific yellow squash. So before we finish up here, I'm gonna go ahead and make sure to create labels for these guys just so I don't forget what I planted. I'm gonna go ahead and put the date on the back. Today is August 7th. We got the Peter Pan squash. We've got our scallop patty pan blend. We have our yellow straight neck. And then last but not least, we have our forward hook zucchini. Peter Pan, scallop blend, forward hook, Alright guys, it's all planted, labeled, and ready to grow. The soil has been sowed with our fall harvest. These guys should come up within the next week for sure. And happy gardening guys, I'll see you next time.